Hi guys, well today we're going to be taking a look at the new ASUS Zenbook UX305CA. This is a stylish 13-inch ultrabook which is super lightweight and compact. And you might be surprised to learn that although this Zenbook uses such tight dimensions and it weighs just over a kilo, we're still getting some really capable hardware such as a Skylake processor and an SSD. One of the biggest attractions to UX305CA is its fanless design. So inside this sleek ultrabook we have no noisy mechanical drives and no cooling fans attached to the CPU. And so what you're going to get is whisper quiet operation while on the move. So what is the cost of such a product? Well, you can pick this up right now for around £550 in the UK and then $700 if you're over in the States. And so it should become apparent, should become clear by the end of the video whether we're getting a good value for money unit here. And we do hope you enjoyed today's video guys, but if you do have any questions then please feel free to ask away. Right guys, well we'd usually start with an unboxing on our ultrabook, but unfortunately this is a review sample and the previous reviewer has managed to destroy the packaging, so we're not going to have a look at that. So instead we're going to go straight in and have a look at the bundled accessories. So we've got this pouch to begin with, as you can see, really nice. That opens out, you can slide your ultrabook into there and transport it around, and that is a really nice inclusion because you don't usually get these with an ultrabook, a netbook or a notebook, so that is good to have. Now we've got the charging unit, which as you can see is extremely compact, and that is almost like something you would get for a smartphone. So again, going to be easy to transport around and pop it into your bag. Then we've got this adapter here, which as you can see is USB 3 to gigabit LAN. So our ultrabook does not come with a gigabit LAN connector, so you're going to have to rely upon wireless, and obviously for transferring large amounts of data it's not going to be ideal, so something like this is going to come in extremely handy, and we actually use this to download our Steam games, and obviously a lot quicker over your gigabit LAN compared to wireless. Okay, so here is our Zenbook. Now this is a super sleek ultrabook which adopts a very smooth and a refined aesthetic. The chassis actually uses an all aluminium design, and UX305 is available in 3 different colours. We have Aurora Metallic, Obsidian Stone and Ceramic Alloy White, and we have the Obsidian Stone version. And that minimalism filters into the size and the weight of this device too. So with UX305 you're getting a super thin and super lightweight system which is going to be easy to pick up and use if you are on the go and you're frequently travelling. Now the actual dimensions for this Zenbook are 324mm wide, 226mm in depth and just 12.3mm for the thickness. And then on the weight you're looking at 1.2 kilos. So again, ideal if you're going to be travelling overseas, and that 1.2 kilos is going to be well within the limits for your cabin luggage allocation that you get when flying. Casting an eye over the lid of our Zenbook, there is very little to say really. There are no accents or concaves, just a circular brushed metal finish which features a metallic ASUS emblem. And so this ticks all the boxes if you really like simplicity. So running down the left edge we have 2 USB 3 ports and an SDXC card reader. So not a lot on this particular side, but it is good to see that they're using USB 3 instead of USB 2. They may look like USB 2 because they are black, but ASUS is simply trying to keep things nice and consistent, which we can't argue with at all. And over on the other side we have some LED indicators for activity, headphone and a microphone jack, mini HDMI that gives you the 4K output. We have another USB 3 port, and that one there also uses Charger Plus, and that ultimately gives you 50% faster charge for your smartphone and your tablet. And then lastly we've got that DC import there to pair up with the charging unit. So that HDMI port there is the only video out, but it is a good inclusion. It gives you the option to go right up there to ultra high def. So although this ultrabook is tight on the dimensions, we're still getting all of those essentials and a few extras to go with it. Now, while we may not have a gigabit LAN port on this ultrabook, except for that USB adapter of course, we do have 802.11ac wireless support with Bluetooth 4.0. And obviously wired is going to be quicker, but it is encouraging to see wireless AC being used. And the actual adapter there behind this is the Intel dual band wireless AC 7265, and that gives you up to 867 megabits. Flipping the ultrabook over, we have 4 circular rubber feet to provide a bit of stability on smooth surfaces. And there are actually no areas marked out for ventilation, which is a bit of a surprise really, since this particular model uses passive cooling. And as you can see there, on each side we have these speakers. Now at this stage we'd usually detach that back panel and have a look at the hardware underneath, but unfortunately this is a review sample, and whoever had this unit before us has managed to round off one of those tiny star bolt screws. so we're not going to be able to do this. Anyway, at the very heart of Zenbook, we have the Intel Core M3 6Y30. And this chip was unveiled at the tail end of 2015, and it uses Skylake architecture, boasting a dual-core configuration with a base clock of 900 MHz, which turbo boosts up to 2.2. And that chip, like others, gives you graphics support via the Intel HD Graphics 515, and that has DirectX 12 support, and it can offer 4K output. Now, one of the biggest selling points about this Ultrabook is the very fact that it is fanless. So that CPU there uses passive cooling, it emits no noise whatsoever, and since we have no mechanical drives, this entire setup is whisper quiet. And it's amazing really to think just of the calibre of hardware inside this Ultrabook, its size, and the very fact that there is no requirement for any active cooling. It really just transformed the whole operation of using such a device, and later on we're going to have a look at how warm the CPU does get while it is under load, as it will be interesting to see. For the system memory, we have up to 8GB, and on this model here we have that 8GB being utilised with LPDDR3 rated at 1600 MHz. Now for storage, we have just one drive, and that is an M.2 SSD, and that drive there is a Lighton CV1, and that gives you 128GB of space. Now that drive there is SATA based, and it is going to give you around 500 meg for the read performance, and then you look at around 200 meg for the write performance. Now for some people 128GB is enough, especially if you're going to be keeping data on a portable drive, but if you did want a bit more, then there are some models which offer 256 and 512. Now, as you would expect with an Ultrabook, the battery is a permanent fixture, and ASUS are using a lipolymer battery which uses 45 watt hours, and that is going to supply you with approximately 8 hours if you're going to be doing very light tasks. But for more demanding usage, such as watching a film or playing a game, then you can expect the battery to last around 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so if we open up our Ultrabook, we have a 13.3-inch display, which is an IPS LCD, and that offers up to 3200 by 1800 resolution. Now the colour gamut for this display is 72% NTSC and 100% sRGB, and we've no complaints at all about the vibrancy or the precision. This display here is very good. And just above that display there, we have light sensors and a 720p webcam with a microphone. That is going to come in handy if you're wanting to perhaps do a video call with an application such as Skype. Now by opening that screen out, it does create this angle for typing, and it also raises the underneath to encourage a bit of heat dissipation. Now as part of the keyboard, the power button there sits in the top right corner, and it is rather close to that backspace there, so care does need to be taken not to accidentally press it or knock it while you are using the Zenbook. So that keyboard there uses a QWERTY design, but it does come with a condensed layout, omitting the numpad and moving the arrow keys underneath that shift. And those keys are tactile and they offer a nice and responsive feedback. And then finally we have the touchpad, which blends into the palm area, and this touchpad here is, as you can see, quite large and it covers some space. This touchpad is really smooth, and just like the keyboard, it is responsive and precise. The left and right mouse clickers are integrated, so you don't get any independent buttons as such. And the other thing to mention is that we have smart gesture technology, which gives you even more functionality, being able to zoom in, drag and access things like Task Manager. Okay, so we've taken a detailed look at this Ultrabook, and now it's about time that we performed a few benchmarks to see exactly how capable this machine really is. So we're going to do a boot into Windows 10 Pro, which our UX305CA comes bundled with. We're going to see what the read and write performance is like with that M.2 drive, and then we're going to run PC Mark 8. And while this Ultrabook isn't exactly designed for gaming, we will run a less demanding title such as Dota 2. And then in the background, while all of these things are running, we're going to monitor the CPU temp. Now we would also usually monitor the noise levels during a benchmark run, but since this unit is completely fanless, there is obviously no need to. Okay, so first of all, let's boot UX305CA and see how quick we get into Windows 10 from a cold boot. Okay, now that we're in, let's run Crystal Disk Mark to get an idea of the transfer rates from that SSD. Okay, we've got PC Mark 8 installed. Now this benchmark here does take a considerable amount of time to finish, so we're going to fast forward this one, but you guys might want to benchmark your own PC to get an idea of the comparison score. And as we mentioned guys, this Ultrabook isn't exactly designed for gaming, but it can handle less demanding titles such as your things like Dota 2 and Minecraft. So we're now going to load up a replay in Dota 2 and get Fraps to report back on that frame rate in the top corner. Okay, and throughout all of those tests we've had real temp running in the background there to pick up on the maximum CPU temperature. Okay, well that is the ASUS Zenbook UX305CA, and as we've seen, although it is thin and lightweight, we're still getting some great hardware inside there. Granted that this Ultrabook isn't really designed for gaming as such, it can still play those baseline, less demanding titles such as Minecraft and Dota 2. And so inside we've got that dual-core Intel Skylake CPU, we've got the 8GB of DDR3, and we've got that M.2 SSD. And as we've already mentioned, due to the fact that we've got that SSD and the passive cooling for the CPU, there is absolutely no noise whatsoever from this Ultrabook, and that is surely going to be one of the biggest attractions, biggest selling points really for consumers who are perhaps wanting to keep those noise levels to an absolute minimum. And you'd expect really, without any cooling fans inside here, that those temperatures would be sky high, but actually they are more than acceptable, and that comes as quite a surprise, just how efficient that heatsink is and the chip inside this particular Ultrabook. So guys, if you are after the full benchmark suite, then please head over to the full review, which is going to be on the screen and in the description very soon. We've only been able to kind of cover a small selection of tests in this particular video. So thanks for watching guys, I hope you did enjoy it today. If you did, then please hit that like button, and please continue to support the channel by subscribing, and I'll see you guys next week.